Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I want to thank Shake for lending me his account. He's got one of the new epic champions and he said, jump on in, have a look, which is exactly what I'm going to do. What I have done for any of the new champions now, we've got a tier list updated with every champion that's in the game currently. And I've kind of put my initial thoughts on some of these champions around whether I feel like they would be worth booking out, whether I think they're actually good, etc. Where I would go with masteries. So when I actually get to do these type of guides, I can update those videos or those bits of information and make sure that they are absolutely spot on. So Shake, really appreciate that. What we're going to do today then, you've probably just had a little glimpse. We're going to look at the new Knight Revenant, who I actually rate highly on paper. So we want to actually test her out properly. RECTOR DRATH. I mean, she competes with Woad painted for a face. Check that face out. You do not want to cross RECTOR DRATH. Pretty cool skin though. Kind of like the feel of it. And yeah, let's just kind of get into her skills and her kits. So we've got an A1, which is a decreased attack A1. Book it out, go up to 50% chance to decrease attack for 2 turns. This is actually pretty good. Like there's not many champions with an A1 decrease attack that are kind of 50% or more for 2 turns. You know, you're looking at your Tayrells, your Sepulchers, Jaregs, Ultans. You start to run out actually pretty quickly. So she does have viability of being a clan boss A1 decrease attack champion. She's not top tier for it, but I think she could come in and do that work for you pretty comfortably if you're struggling for this skill and you don't want to level up someone like a Bog Walker or a Veteran or one of the rares that's kind of okay but not great. She's also got an A2 which heals everyone by 20% of her HP. I always much prefer it when it's healing by their own HP because you're in control of that. You don't have to set everyone up to have really high HP. So she's healing by 20% of her HP. After healing, places Perfect Veil for 2 turns on all allies with full HP, and a continuous heal as well. This is a really good skill. 4-turn cooldown after booking, so it's not like it's up all the time, which is it probably could do with being 3-turn cooldown to be properly viable. In a lot of content. It's good for faction wars for sure. You get your Perfect Veil, which means you take less damage. You get that on for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown, so there's a couple of turns where that's going to be running out. Continuous heal as well for 1 turn instead on all allies with less than 100% HP. So it's either the heal or it's the veil. Again, it would be nice if it dropped them both, but I guess we're getting into the kind of overpowered status with that. But this is a nice skill. I like it as a kind of support ability. And then we've got, I guess, really the reason why she's going to be so good in faction wars. Revives a single ally, 60% HP, 60% turn meter, and gives them a Perfect Veil for 3 turns. Now, there's not another Knight Revenant that revives. I don't think there is anyway. Let me just check that. Pretty sure she is the only one. So any legendaries that are doing it? No. So she's the only revive champion in the Knight Revs, which is big because if you're trying to get through stage 16 plus, especially stage 21, often you're going to lose at least one person. Being able to pick them back up again means you get your 3 stars. So for faction wars, I think she's top tier for this faction. She's got a passive as well then. Whenever an ally is under Veil or Perfect Veil, buff gets, whenever they get a turn, heals them by 10% of their max HP. Also increases the resistance of allies under Veil. Perfect Veil buffs by 50. The resistance thing is kind of nice for Doom Tower, in fairness. Like Doom Tower, you need much higher resistances to be able to deal with the content. So this is kind of nice. I guess also, she's going to be throwing out the Perfect Veils on revives or on her A2, then, your Spiderling tank getting an extra 50 resistance is going to be good against things like Dragon, against things like Ice Golem. When the hits are coming in, another 50 resistance again is good. And then she's got a resistance Doom Tower aura as well. So you've got 55 resistance on the aura, another 50 when they're under veil. You got yourself a solid 100 before you even start building any resistance on your champs. So all in all, I feel like her kit is solid. I think it can do well as a kind of dungeon support player. I think she can do well potentially as clan boss, throwing out those veils and the heals and decrease attack. And I think she's top draw for Faction Wars. Reasonable in most of the Doom Tower sections as a healer stroke support player. So I've actually rated her. I rated her what? 4 for Koldath, 4 for Sorath in terms of just resisting some of those debuffs that are coming. 4 for Bordoff as well. I rated a 4 for Spider, 4 for Dragon, 4 for Ice Golem for basically preventing a lot of those debuffs coming on. 5 for Faction Wars and 4 for Clan Boss. I feel like that's where she's going to play. I can't see her playing in Arena at all. So there you go. In terms of masteries then, so Shake's already been doing these. If I was going to run her in Clan Boss, I would take her into War Master. She doesn't need any accuracy for anything she does. Oh, she does actually, sorry. She needs accuracy for decreased attack. So again, if I was running her in Clan Boss, I would run a much more kind of like standard War Master tree into support with accuracy. That's kind of where I would go. And on my site, that's basically what I've done. I've pushed it as this type of mastery tree. Now, you can run her a ton of different ways, I think. And you know what Shake's doing here, he's gone to gain more from her healing. He's gone for a defensive setup. I don't know. It's not a terrible option, I guess. You know, you could come in here and get some turn meter feel if your allies take crits, and just cycle back round to your abilities again. So it's not a bad option. You could absorb some of the damage from what your allies are taking, but I probably wouldn't suggest that. If I was going down the type of tree that Shake's doing here, then maybe I'd end up as a kind of high resistance tank. Really, but for me, this isn't optimal. I'm not going to change it now, but I would probably stick with War Master and support tree, because at least then you get some damage out of her. If you've got War Master on a champion that's kind of running into different content, then at least you get some damage from your hits. So that's what I would do. But in terms of builds then, so Shake's gone for high speed, reasonable defense, good HP. So the HP gives you heal. And he's left accuracy off the table. He's basically saying, I don't want to use it for decreased attack. But if you do want to use it for decreased attack, you just flip your banner into an accuracy banner, and then all of a sudden she works for that as well. I think that's your better option. Decreased attack is a solid skill. Yeah, it's a solid skill for just about any content, really. If you're going against Spider Boss, if you're going against Dragon, if you're going against Faction War bosses, all of those areas, getting your decreased attack out there is actually really helpful. So I would build her with accuracy. So I'm just going to change this up a touch. I would probably go defense on the amulet with accuracy. Let's just take from one of these. Something like this. So I'm at 160 odd now. He's built with, and these are 2-piece sets here for resilience set. So defense and HP. Deflection's a 4-piece, and he's got 2 pieces on, so that's actually not going to do any good for us right now. But this is a good piece. That's an okay piece. He's just built out as much HP and defense as possible. It's not a bad build, in fairness. It's not a bad build. It's probably not the way I would go. I would prefer to have enough accuracy to land a decreased attack. So I would probably be looking for something that's still got the speed and the defense number. You can afford to lose a bit of HP here and still get a reasonable heal out if you're going to get a nice decreased attack off. So I would probably stick with a defense or HP chest. Try and look for speed on the substat, but I would be pushing for it in accuracy myself. So something like this. So in the end, what I come to is 214 accuracy, so it lands. All of our moves land. 205 speed. I've still got healthy defense, and I've still got a pretty cool amount of HP. That's kind of more where I would go. So let's just try her out. Let's give her a spin. Take her for a spin. Now I'm going to start with Faction Wars because for me this is her strongest area. So Shake has completed Faction Wars. Do we have any keys? Yes, we do. So what we'll see here is just the ability to keep people alive. Now, what we've got is, okay, let's take the damage dealer out and throw her in and let it roll. So really what she's there for is just to pick people up if they drop down. And level 21, chances are you're going to be struggling a bit because it's hard. You know, it's hard content. So it looks here that we don't have a drop defense. Actually, I've taken his by Stoffers out, who probably was his decreased defense champion. But we see heals going in. We've got veils going on. So as soon as those veils are up, we start to get the benefit of a passive. So they're getting the heals when they move. See that? It's a 3.5k heal, which for Faction Wars, just keeping your health topped up is actually huge. Every time they go, another 3.5k. It's just solid. It's just solid. A massive heal for Miscreated. She's got a higher HP, and she's healing them for percentage of their health. Actually getting wrecked here. But there we go. We get one revive up. It's on, what was it, 5-turn cooldown? Let me just check. 4-turn cooldown when booked. Which actually is not too bad. We've got it back already. Which, you know, without her, this faction's difficult. It really is. It's difficult because you've got no one keeping you in the race. And obviously, look, I've taken out one of the big damage dealers on purpose here so you can kind of see her in action. But already we've seen how clutch she is at keeping your team in the game. What I might do is just switch it up and take Whisper out and put by Stoffers back in. Oh no, we can run it. But you look, so we've gone from having 2 people on the deck now to everyone alive and at full health. She's done that with Miscreated, and that's a pretty good position to be. So I'm going to let this run through. I'll get us to the boss part of the fight, and then we can kind of see what she's bringing for the boss. I think it's worth just showing some of this second wave, because this second wave is horrible. It's a horrible wave, and it's probably harder than the boss. Beating the second wave is probably harder than killing the boss on Night Revenants, because you've got this triple Valk wave, you've got the air all smacking you, you've got the Warcaster putting block damage out. So it's just, I mean, firstly, it's long. It's super long, and it is being long in this fight here. Nothing's changing with that. If we had by Stoffers in, it would be improved. But a lot of people don't have the luxury of that anyway. But you can just see, I mean, she's already revived 3 times on this wave. She's staying nice and healthy. She's keeping other people nice and healthy. And slowly but surely, we're going to end up beating this wave, which I think without her, I mean, I know when I did Faction Wars 21 for Night Revs, I had to redo Stage 2 a ton. I had to redo it an absolute ton because it just kept going on and on. Well, in fact, I just kept losing someone. I had no one to revive. So as soon as they got a turn against me, it was basically like, right, reset, I'm going again, because I wasn't able to beat them. So just shows how much she brings to this faction, actually. It's huge. Absolutely huge. So I'll let it roll on again, because it will take a while. We probably won't get onto the boss for another 5 minutes at least. But you can just see the benefit that she's bringing. Someone's dead. There they go again. And we have another try, basically. Well, what can I say? 25 minutes of my life I'm not getting back. Luckily, I didn't put you through that. But she is MVP of this faction. Like, absolutely crazy. I guess you don't really want to auto here like I've just done, because he's going to steal all of our buffs and be an absolute machine with all these buffs going off. But he will, I don't think he can deal with what we've got to offer here. So we're just going to take out the side ads. let him take all of our beautiful buffs. In fact, is that just going to completely kill us now? It might do. But what she will do is continuously just heal this team up, which is so good. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So, we just lost one person. We're probably going to lose more before we kind of get control of this fight again. With all these provokes going off. And hopefully, I haven't just completely ruined it by pressing auto at the wrong stage there. But are we going to lose everyone? I don't think we do. I think she's just going to keep us all kind of going. We do need to kill this guy that's provoking us, who we're targeting now. He doesn't have all of the buffs up anymore, so hopefully we can just get him out of the game before he ruins our day. And then eventually, once she stops getting provoked all day long, we start picking people back up. And at that point, we're back in the game. So you just want to kill the two side adds. He's going to steal these buffs. Doesn't really matter. It's not ideal. But she is an absolute heal machine, team support machine. I really like her. I think she's a great support champion. I can see her doing extremely well, not just here in Faction Wars, but in Doom Tower on waves that you're really struggling to beat. I think she would do exactly the same thing. The hardest thing we've got here in this team is in finding enough damage to actually beat this guy when we get the chance to. And hopefully Whisper will do that for us, because we won't have any decreased defense out. But the second ad's going to be dead soon. He's going to steal our buffs again. And if you were doing this on manual, you would just make sure that you control when he can and can't take your buffs. Because as it stands, if I did this full auto like I'm doing here, he will keep taking heals from us, because she puts heals out as well. But now we're full auto. I mean, yeah, I just feel like she's top draw. Absolutely top draw. We do have other good epics in here as well, but we're on a full epic team. We're not throwing loads of legendaries in. And I haven't geared people up for this. They're literally just in whatever gear Shake already had them in. So, yeah, his account's decent, but it's not like crazy. But you can see that we're just going to kind of work our way slowly but surely through this. We're going to throw him a ton of buffs, because that's what we want to do on auto. But as long as we're not throwing him heals, we're probably fine, really. But totally topped up right the way through. We're probably going to end up being something like a 40-minute fight, I think, because we've got to kill him once, he'll heal, and then we have to kill him again. And as I say, the biggest challenge is, do we end up killing him second time round with the amount of damage that I've got in this team? The answer might actually be no. It might be no. We've got no damage on this Senacia. She doesn't hit at all. We've got a bit of damage on the Whisper, and we've got a little bit of damage on the Miscreated Monster. But I don't know if that's enough to kill him in the right amount of turns. And with someone like Miscreated Monster about to throw him a bunch of heals, like this, slapping those heals in for him, then we're making it more difficult for ourselves. But I'm going to let it run full auto and just see if we do get the kill. But rest assured, if I was building this team properly for Faction Wars, it would be a no-brainer. We would absolutely get through it, and even through that really tough second wave, which is so hard to beat. So there you go, guys. I will show you some other content as well. I'll let this run through. I'm going to go and have my dinner, have a couple of cups of tea, probably a few beers, come back, see if we've actually beaten this faction war. Perhaps I'll stop just doing it on auto and stop giving him all these heals. But she is top tier for this. Well, as I say, 14 minutes of my life. It's actually really close. He's got one turn to go, and we've got to kill him this turn before he heals again. I think we just about get it. It's tough. Rector did 165,000 damage, which is nothing. All of the damage came from Whisper and Sepulchre. If Rector had War Master on, then maybe it's a different story and we actually get a bit more support there. But she was MVP. Look at the healing she did, 4.6 million. She's revived at least 20 times in that fight. So, in terms of is she bringing any value, she's huge. Absolutely huge to this team. So, really, really impressive. I think she's a great addition to the Night Revs. let's just have a look then at what Strike runs in here. So it looks like he's running, it might just be a straight out nuke team. I think it is. What I'm thinking for her is to actually come in as like a secondary healer. So yes, you might end up doing something like this. You know, the HP burn is formed by Drexar as your tank. She comes in then as your like secondary tank, potentially. It's not perfect by any means, but she does have a revive. She does have a heal. And she also has got decreased attack, which could land on the spider. So all in all, I think it's pretty good. Is she best at spider 20? No. She's probably best at like spider 18 or 19. But I think with this team we would win. So, you know, you've got HP burns coming on from Drexar, who's available from the bazaar with a little bit of time, or quite a lot of time. So he's putting those HP burns out. She's kind of keeping the team alive. Obviously, Miscreated Monster's doing a massive job here in terms of shielding. And then I think that it just wins over time with this sort of comp. Is she better than everyone else that does this? I guess not. But if you've pulled one and you're looking for a healer, stroke, secondary tank, stroke revive champion, you know, she's not bad. She's not bad for it. Her actual A2 heal is strong. You know, that's the thing I like most about it. It's the heal that comes on with the A2 is strong. I guess I'd prefer a cleanse ability here over her straight A2. You know, a cleanse would be stronger than what she's offering, but you know, again, you don't always have the right tools, so sometimes you kind of just have to go with what you got. And you know, this sort of team comp, it's never going to be the fastest comp in the world, but actually, we're going to do it probably in like 2.5 minutes, I'd imagine. All going well. And that's without landing the Heartseeker decrease accuracy ability as well. So, sorry, the decreased turn meter, which we've just done there. We've now got HP burns out on a bunch of them. You do need to be careful because she puts this veil on. If she ends up being the one without a veil on before your tank, then there is potentially some problems there. But this is looking pretty solid. I mean, is she the reason we're winning, or is Miscreated Monster? I guess it's probably an answer that question you can answer. I'd say it's a balance between the lot of them, actually. You know, this is a team comp that's winning us the fight rather than one individual champ. But I think she's good. I think she's good here. And I think anywhere really, probably Doom Tower is one of the places that I think she's going to be best, because that's where you've got most chance of actually having people fall down dead, really. Faction Wars, we've just seen loads of people fall down dead in Faction Wars. Doom Tower is kind of similar to that. So you see what I mean here about the Veil? So the Veil is not on Cold Heart at the moment, but it is on Drexar. And that's just like that pinch point where if the Veil's not falling off of your tank first, you could put yourself in problems. But we've now got loads of HP burns up. Should be just a moment of time. I mean, it's actually gone on longer than I thought it would. Everyone's got HP burns on here. It's just a matter of time for those spiderlings to move again. Here they go. And job done. So 3.5 minutes. What's else? A legendary piece. Pretty good one. Nice. She's done no damage again. She's not in there doing any damage. Again, if she had War Master, she might have a chance to do a bit of damage. But all she's really doing there is keeping people alive. And she would do the same in any dungeon. I think the best dungeons for her would be where she's actually got a strong affinity. So, you know, Spider's her worst dungeon in essence in terms of affinity. Everywhere else, she's at least got... actually, I think Ice Golem's poor as well. Ice Golem's poor. I probably wouldn't run her in Ice Golem. But the other ones, she's got, you know, reasonable chance. And then if we were to look at somewhere like Doom Tower, so Shike's on hard. It's on one of the boss fights. Let's just show her in like a wave situation. So it looks like he's running a seer combo here. So Drokol's like the support player. So she's going to come in here, give us a bit of resistance, and also a few more buffs for seer to rip off, which is quite nice. I do think as well with her kit, like most of the bosses should be helpful on. She won't be top tier for any of them, but something like the Scarab King should be able to pick up fallen foes. She's a positive affinity for that. Just general heal mechanics to try and get you through the content, I think is going to be strong. So I do feel like as a support healer style champ, she's just straight out solid. Solid champion. What she won't do is be the champion that speeds up your runs. She'll be the champion that you sub her into because you're struggling to get through the content. She won't be the one where you're like, okay, I want to speed up now, let's throw her in. Loads of buffs out. Should get a seer clear up in a minute. Hopefully they throw some more buffs out, even better. Clear up on Isle Seer. I've got one more turn yet. But yeah, so, I mean, I don't want to kind of just drag this on for longer than it needs to be. She's just straight out solid champion, guys. Solid champion, and I think you'll get a lot of use from her, especially in Faction Wars and Doom Tower. So there you go, Rector DrATH. I think good addition to the game, especially for Night Revs. You see here, we just lost someone. She's going to be picking them up in a minute, and that's what she's kind of best for. But yeah, really, really good champion. So guys, I've been Hell Hades. That's been Rector DrATH. I'll catch you in another video soon.